Assalamu alaikum, my dear girls. Before we begin, let me ask you something. When history is written through war, through power, border, and politics, what happens to women? Do their tears enter textbooks? Do their everyday sacrifices become paragraphs? Or do they vanish quietly between dates and treaties? Today, we are not reading a novel only. We are listening to voices buried under history, and Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie gives those voices language. This is not merely a story of Nigeria, it is a story of women surviving history. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie is among the most powerful contemporary women writers of our time. Not because she raises her voice, but because she trusts the power of storytelling. She writes from Nigeria in English, standing at the crossroads of colonial memory, gender politics, and African womanhood. She once reminds us stories matter, many stories matter. And half of a yellow sun is her refusal to let one story disappear. When we speak of women's writing, we ask difficult questions. Who is allowed to speak? Who is remembered? Who survives the telling? This novel answers all three. Here, women are not background figures. They are thinkers, lovers, organizers, witnesses. Adichie rewrites war not from the battlefield, but from kitchens, classrooms, refugee camps, bedrooms. That shift itself is feminist. To understand the novel, we must touch history but gently. After colonial rule, Nigeria was divided into regions. Ethnic and political tensions grew. One region, Biafra, declared independence. This led to Nigerian Civil War 1967 to 1970, often called the Biafran War. Millions died, not always by bullets, but by hunger. The symbol of Biafra was half of a yellow sun, incomplete, broken, yet still shining. That image becomes the emotional heart of the novel. One of the quiet strengths of this novel is how it begins, not with explosions, not with blood, but with ordinary lives. We meet Olana, Kainin, Ugwu. And notice this, girls, women are central from the very beginning. They are not waiting to be right. They are learning, choosing, resisting. Olana, the educated woman. Olana is beautiful, yes, but Adichie never lets beauty define her. She is educated abroad, politically aware, emotionally sensitive, and yet she suffers betrayal. She feels fear. She learns painfully that education does not shield women from violence or loss. Olana represents the thinking woman caught between modern ideals and brutal reality. Many of you may see yourselves in her contradictions. Kaine is different, sharp tongued, business minded, emotionally guarded. She does not perform softness, and society dislikes women who refuse performance. But watch what happens during war. It is Kainene who organizes relief, who feeds refugees, who becomes indispensable. Adichie never announces this loudly. She simply shows us the world may distrust strong women, but it relies on them when everything collapses. When war enters this novel, notice how we see it, not through general speeches, but through children starving, women standing in endless queues, mothers cooking without food, bodies without names. This is garnered history. Women experience war through hunger, displacement, sexual violence, emotional labor, and Adichie refuses to romanticize any yet of it. Her language is plain, and that honesty is devastating. Ugwu. Ugwu begins as a village boy, curious, observant, innocent, but war transforms him. He witnesses violence, he becomes part of it. This is crucial. Adichie does not divide the world into pure victims and pure villains. She allows how systems of violence corrupt everyone, even innocence. One of the most haunting elements of this novel is silence. Some experiences are too heavy for words. Women carry grief quietly, loss, humiliation, trauma. Adichie respects that silence. She does not force a confession. She lets pain exist without spectacle. That restraint is mark of mature feminist writing. This novel does not shout slogans. It simply shows women thinking, women choosing, women enduring, and that is enough to challenge patriarchy. It tells us without argument that women do not need permission to be central to history. Let us return to the title, Half of a Yellow Sun. Not whole, not victorious. It stands for broken nations, incomplete freedom, wounded lives, and yet even half of a yellow sun gives light. Hope survives not as triumph but as endurance. Students, this novel is in your syllabus because it teaches you history beyond textbooks, feminism without heavy theory, empathy without sentimentality. It trains both heart and intellect, and that is the deepest aim for women's writing. Before we end, remember this: women's writing is not only about women authors, it is about who gets remembered. Adichie reminds us if women do not tell their stories, history will erase them. So read this novel slowly, read it deeply, read it as women who refuse silence. Because your voice, like half of a yellow sun, matters. Thank you.